Canada, called Vulcan. There was about 1,000 people there. And I now live in the opposite side of Canada in our capital, Ottawa.
Okay.
I'm currently traveling, so I'm in the UK right now, but usually that would be my home base. So when I was 18, I guess I've kind of always been interested in beauty, especially throughout my teen years, because I had terrible skin issues. So when I was 18, I was kind of like at that standstill where you're expected to go to university and go that route, get a degree, get a job.
Right.
So I kind of rebelled against my parents' wishes and went to Paris instead.
Oh, wow.
So a massive rebel. I took an au pair job, honestly, just to get me over there. And the family enrolled me in French classes, but in the same building, there was a makeup school.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I would skip my French lesson and go to the makeup classes.
What a badass. I love it.
Eventually, the family kind of caught on because, like, my French obviously was not progressing the way it should have been. And I had to come clean to them. Luckily, they were totally fine with it. They were just happy that I found something I loved doing, and it meant I wanted to stay in Paris. Yeah, so it worked out for the better. I came home, and I guess over the past 8 years now, I've worked on and off for various beauty brands. So I was a counter manager for Lancome and a senior artist for Sephora in Canada. And then only about last year, I decided to take the plunge and go full time with makeup artistry. And this was at the same time as I was doing my degree, because I still kind of had it in the back of my mind that I needed a degree to do my MBA if I wanted to build something greater than just a wedding business.
Right.
So I started it in my third year of university and my cosmetics line shortly after. And I really haven't looked back since. I guess I would never, like, I'm finished my degree now, and I don't think I'll ever use it unless I do my MBA.
You're not alone. So many of us.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
I feel like that's a common thread for most people. So.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We totally let the world tell us what the qualifications are, and it's just like, no, stick to what you
absolutely.
You know. So you mentioned your brand, your cosmetic line. So tell me about that. What what are some things that you founded it on? How did the idea come about? Tell me more.
Yeah, okay. So basically it's a brand that I always wanted to put ethics at the forefront. I studied global development and environmental studies. So like throughout my 4 years, I was kind of brainwashed into like sustainability and like being green and being fair to employees. So that was what I really wanted to push. And of course, cruelty-free and vegan are two important factors to me as well. I'm vegan myself, so that obviously played a huge role. But mainly, like, I wanted to be able to audit like every part of our supply chain to make sure that everything was being done in a sustainable way and that every employee was being treated fairly. I guess the idea came about because I wanted to scale my wedding business. I wanted something that could allow me to work less, because obviously when you're a makeup artist, you're kind of limited by the number of services you can do in a day. And I wanted to create something greater than that I could kind of have fun with, and that would be like a passion project. And it really just has been that, I think, ever since I started.
That's so cool. I love that. I love the idea that you even mentioned, just being kind to your employees. That seems like such a simple thing, but I think when you at your foundation care about people, you can see, people can sense that through your brand. They can feel that you actually care about them. And I think that's what sets you apart from, these huge corporations, that they're just pumping out a product and they know people are going to buy it because it's a brand name.
Yeah.
I think it's changing. The world is changing, and people really want something that they want to support companies that are all for sustainability and, have a low footprint and, really care about people.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like, even the fact that everything from like the boxes to the formula to our packaging is made in Canada, like has a massive impact on our footprint. Like it only has to ship 3 hours by vehicle as opposed to being shipped overseas. Like even the little things like that.
Yeah.
And of course it benefits our Canadian economy, which I think is almost getting to be a popular movement right now. And I hope it's a trend that's going to last. But yeah, I see in the future a lot more people caring about supporting local and looking at supply chains and kind of being an ethical consumer themselves.
I have a quick question for you. So how have you been able to keep your business local?
Like how did I find my manufacturer or?
Yeah, so a lot of small business owners, especially, I don't know if you had a lot of capital to start your business or if you're bootstrapping, but typically,
yeah.
Okay,
it definitely was a lot more expensive to start in Canada than it would have been if I went overseas to China.
Exactly.
Of course, I looked at manufacturers in China. Like I definitely considered that as a route. But at the end of the day, I decided that it would be better off taking a cut in the short term, like even 1 to 3 years, knowing that it'll pay off in the long term. So my product cost is about triple actually what it would be if I sourced from China, which is just crazy to think about.
Oh my gosh.
But to me, it's completely worth it. I started off bootstrapping, but luckily my makeup artistry business took off and I had a team working under me. So that played a massive role in having the capital to start. But at the same time, the manufacturer, I was just really frank with them. Most manufacturers require like minimum orders of 5,000 per shade. And I went to them and I said, I am extremely passionate about keeping this local. Like I will be loyal to you throughout my years. And of course I could have been lying. They could have not believed me. But they took it and they allowed me to start with a small batch, which was incredible. So without that, I don't think I would have been able to start, honestly, just because the costs are so astronomical.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful and inspiring story.
And I think it's also just not being afraid to hear no. Like they easily could have said no and I could have been too afraid to ask because all the research I did online said you absolutely will not find a manufacturer that will do less SKUs for you. So I think I just took the leap because I had no other choice and it paid off.
That's awesome. I love underdog stories. I love that. And if there's ever a movie where it's like, you know, the little guy is getting picked on, I'm like, you know,
yes.
I think it's so cool. I love it.
Exactly.
Did you have another follow-up question, Tasia?
Nope.
Okay. So tell me, you know, being a girl boss, as you know, is not easy. So I'm curious, you know, what are some gems that you've picked up along the way? Like, what have you learned? What are, you know, maybe tell me a story of something that, you know, taught you a very valuable lesson, you know, about, you know, business.
Yeah, about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think first off, like, just even like a general lesson that I've really learned over the past few years is to never doubt myself. When I was first starting off, I would listen to the advice of anyone who wanted to give it to me. And of course, as you probably know, everyone has advice for you in some way, shape, or form.
So true.
But then I got to the point where I realized that I can only listen to the advice of a select few people, and they have to be doing things that are like big. They have to be doing big things, or they have to be in a place where I want to be in the future to listen to them. I think that was honestly like almost like the light bulb moment for me when I realized that I can't be listening to people who aren't innovators. And then I just started drowning out everything. So I'm opening a beauty bus this summer in Ottawa, our capital, and
so exciting.
It is, yeah, very exciting.
Really cool.
Even that though, I will get, even from parents and in-laws, like I'll get the questions and the doubt and the comments that are like, oh well, at least at least you did your degree so you can do your MBA. And
So true.
so I think probably the greatest story is just that I stopped listening to all of that, because I honestly don't think I would have been where I am right now. And I would definitely not be opening a beauty bus and do something radical like that if I was listening to those people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But also I think just like general hard work. Like when I started, I was already studying 25 hours a week, but I was working about 40 hours a week on top of that on both my artistry business and my cosmetic line. So it was pretty crazy as a student, and I had absolutely no social life the past 4 years. But it paid off because I genuinely loved what I was doing. So I think to me, it didn't even faze me. It was just like, I knew that I had to do whatever I could to make it happen. Because if I didn't, I would end up in law school or doing something that I hated for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So many people take that route though, you know, because they're just I can't hack it. You know, they just, they let people tell them. Hashtag relatable for sure.
And I started my degree even literally with the goal of law school in mind, because I just thought that had to be my path. So I even studied for and wrote the LSATs and everything, and then did them and aced them, but then decided like, what am I doing? Like, I'm growing these. Like, I know I can grow these beyond what I could ever do as a lawyer. So yeah, I think like as cheesy as it sounds, like it sounds really corny, but I think just believing in myself was probably the greatest like lesson.
That's not cheesy at all.
Yeah.
It's such a, you know, honestly, before really getting into this business, I hadn't even heard of imposter syndrome. And so I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but it's such a real thing, and believing in yourself is basically like the opposite of that. And so I think that it's a totally valid encouragement, you know, for women out there. It's like, you can let everybody believe, or you can let everybody tell you what you should believe about yourself, you know, or you can be like, no, I know I have this gift and I'm going to go for it. I mean, I tell that same story, like as a writer, you know, don't be a starving writer, you know, like you're never going to make any money. And, you know, so I went to school to be a teacher, you know, and it's like, let me be a starving teacher instead, you know, like at least I'll get a job.
Yeah.
So, can totally,
it's so true. And it's not like, it's crazy because it's almost like women are shamed when like we know that we can do this and that we're going to be successful, like in a creative industry. It's almost like we're shamed into saying that out loud, into like admitting that we believe in ourselves. Like it's almost like a shameful thing to be confident, which is crazy.
That's a really powerful statement. But
it really is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, Jackie, on Rihanna's birthday last week. It was a quote that she said, when women walk in the same paths as men, that's very liberating.
Yes.
And for me, at first I was like, oh, this is really cool. But then I thought about it and I was like, this is sad. Why do we always feel liberated being able to do something that the other half of the population has the full freedom to do?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly.
So we're running short on time. So I want to ask you some key things.
For sure.
Are there any influencers or brands that you still look up to?
Oh, yes. And ironically, they're not beauty influencers.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know why, but officially Quigley is the first one. Have you heard of her?
No.
She's like a fashion content creator, but her and her husband also do a lot of traveling. But I love her because she like unapologetically shares the edited and unedited version of her life, and she actually has a message behind every post. So it's not just like click my post and buy my t-shirt that I'm wearing. Like she has something to say behind everything. So that's one. And then the other two are actually travel influencers. So one is the Blonde Abroad and the other is Dreaming Out Loud. So it's Haley and Bryce, which are a married couple. But both of them, like the Blonde Abroad, Kirsten left the corporate world to travel full time. and took a leap there. So I've just always admired her because I've followed her for years, like from when she had 100 followers on Blog Lovin' to now when she has like a following of 500,000, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And Haley and Bryce, they're just like this wicked couple that worked in coffee shops and took random jobs to do whatever traveling they could. And they just kept that up for like 3 years until they started getting sponsored travel trips. And their content is also unreal. So I think those are the three like main. And then as far as beauty brands, definitely I'll just like list them quick. Bite Beauty, it's a Canadian brand. Glossier, Emily Weiss is like a goddess in the boss babe world.
We know. We're familiar.
Yes. And Decium, so Brendan Truax, I'm sure you've heard of him. Unfortunately he passed away, but he like revolutionized the skincare industry. So he's someone that I really look up to. I'd say those would be my main three.
Nice. And I just wanted to ask one follow-up question about your business size, just so we have context. You said that you had a team of makeup artists that worked under you. How big is your cosmetic line now?
Sorry, how what?
How big is your cosmetic line now?
I'd say like in terms of the makeup industry or in terms of my makeup business.
Yeah,
I think
your business.
Yeah, the cosmetics line is actually doing more sales than my wedding business is bringing in, which I kind of never expected because we only launched in July. I was expecting it sort of to be like a 1 to 3 year thing because you just kind of hear that everyone says it's long-term growth. But now it's bringing about a steady $10,000 a month in like income wise. So we're still very, very small.
That's still amazing that's what, 8 months? Yeah.
And it's without paid ads, which I'm really proud of. So I know there was a question about community, and I think community made that happen. Like, honestly, that's the reason we've got to that point. Definitely in the future, though, I'm going to be using paid ads because I really do want to scale it beyond what it is.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Anything else? I am so inspired by you, and I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to talk with you and, you know, kind of just dig in. We truly believe that there's a story behind everything, and we love what you represent, and we're so excited for you, and congratulations for all the growth that you've made thus far, and we can't wait to see you continue to glow up, girl. Get your glow up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored you even wanted to interview me.
Of course. So if we have any follow-up questions, is it okay if we just shoot a quick email over to you for clarification?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you. Have a great day or night, whatever it is there.
Day.
Okay, it's night here.
Okay.
Never
Have
sure.
a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.